Mr. Freitas, go ahead.
All right. Aloha, Mr. White.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
I know it's been a long journey so far. Anyway, I don't want to be too repetitive, but for my own foundation, you might hear some things over again.
Sure.
Who hired you to do this CDUP?
Carlsmith law firm directly with the university as the ultimate client.
How long did it take this CDUP to be completed?
The CDUP isn't completed. The application took several months.
Isn't this about the CDUP?
We prepared the application. I'm testifying as to the application, the permit is something the board will issue. We requested it through a permit application.
Okay. Did you get compensated for this work you done?
The company did, and I was working for the company, and they did.
Is that a yes or no?
That's a yes.
Thank you. Do you work for them still?
I work for Planning Solutions, yes.
Do you work for Carlsmith, the one person who hired you?
I work for Planning Solutions, so I don't work for Carlsmith.
Okay, who is Planning Solutions?
Planning Solutions is a small planning and environmental firm.
Is that your company?
No longer. It was at one time.
So you don't work for, all I need is a yes or no. Do you work for them, the Carlsmith? Yes or no?
I don't know how to answer your question differently than, I don't work for Carlsmith. I work for Planning Solutions.
So you just answered the question, do you work for Carlsmith?
Not directly, no.
So Carlsmith hired you, but you don't work for small Carlsmith?
Carlsmith hired Planning Solutions. Carlsmith did not hire me.
You're the author of the CDUP.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking you these questions.
I was working for Planning Solutions at the time I prepared the CDUA.
CDUA.
Yes.
And you don't work for them now?
I still work for Planning Solutions.
I don't know if I'm getting confused, but I just want to know, your Planning Solutions, you don't work for them anymore.
I am Perry White. I
Yes.
work for a company called Planning Solutions.
Okay.
Planning Solutions works for Carlsmith and the university.
Your objections? I consider this clarification, but can we move on?
Sure. I just wanted to get that clear if you still work for them.
He still works for Planning Solutions.
Okay, so that's a yes, right?
Yes.
How much did it cost them, the UH? Is it the UH that hired Carlsmith?
It is the university that hired Carlsmith, I believe.
I'm sorry to ask, but if we could ask you to take the microphone, that would be helpful.
Objection, lack of relevance, materiality calls for witness to speculate as to actions of other people.
So, Mr. Freitas, you need to establish that this witness knows something about the, I guess, the hiring by the University of the Carlsmith firm. So that.
Yes. This is very important to my foundation, and so because I believe did the university hire Carlsmith for you to do the CDUP or CDUA? I'm trying to clarify this so I can. Go ahead.
We work for Carlsmith.
Okay.
Sir, did
That's
the
a-
university hire Carlsmith? Do you know?
No. I believe it, but I don't know it.
So you have no clue how much it cost for the CDUA
No, I don't.
or CDUP?
No.
Okay. When preparing this CDUP or CDUA, what is it?
CDUA.
Okay, now I got it clear.
Application.
I thought it was a CDUP.
That's permit.
Okay. The application, then the permit is allowed after that if it's supposed to be. Right.
Well, he's testifying because
Yeah.
he prepared the
I
application.
prepared my questions on, with my knowledge that the CDUP was his responsibility, his author.
Okay,
He's the author of the CDUP.
A application.
CDUA.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I got it straight now. Thank you. So how long did it take?
We worked on it over a period of a number of months.
And it's still not complete.
The application was completed in 2010.
So what was completed?
The application that was submitted to the department?
Okay, so the application has been completed.
Yes.
So the author of the CDUP is you, isn't it?
No, the CDUA.
Okay, all right. Okay. And you're still working on it?
No.
Okay, so that's a no, right?
That was a no.
Okay. Is the EIS part of this?
No.
Okay.
I need clarification, Mr. Freitas.
Yes.
Part of the application or part of what? You asked the witness.
Is the EIS part of the CDUA?
And
The-
your answer was no. Your answer was no.
It's not part of that. It was submitted at the same time as that to complete the entire application.
Just answer the question.
The EIS is not part of the report that we prepared, that planning
The
solutions.
application.
It's not
Just-
part of the application that we prepared.
So it's just part of the application, you just did the application period?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Sorry, I don't mean to frustrate you up there.
No, no.
I'm new at this, just want to let you know. I only seen this on TV, so. Planning Solutions, is that a new business, or was it a new business?
No, we were founded 21 years ago.
21 years ago. And that no longer exists,
No, Planning Solutions still exists.
but you don't work for it.
I worked there. One time I was
Okay.
the owner. I'm not the owner.
Okay, so no.
Just a minute, please. Overruled.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so no, right? The answer is no, you don't work for them.
I do work for them. I'm not the owner.
Am I getting confused? I am. Okay, it's my fault.
He works for Planning Solutions.
But he said he doesn't work for them anymore.
He didn't say that.
Okay, do you work for Planning Solutions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is this your first CDUA for Mauna Kea you have ever done in your experience?
Yes, it is
Okay.
the first.
Thank you. Did TIO have anything to do with the compensation of this CDUA?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So that's a no.
That's a no.
Did TMT have anything to do with the compensation of this process?
No.
Is TMT a nonprofit entity? Oh.
It is,
Wait a second. Why would that be objected?
he's saying that, remember that this is cross-examination, so
Yeah.
cross-examination is limited to the written testimony that was presented by this witness prior to coming here. And so that's what the scope of direct examination is. However, you're asking this witness about TMT and
TIO.
whether it's, okay, or TIO.
And
And-
what type of entity they are. I mean, if he's doing a CDUA for these entities, then he must have some kind of knowledge of them.
Because he didn't say he did the CDUA for that entity. He said he did it as an employee of Planning Solutions.
For-
Planning Solutions was hired by Carlsmith.
Okay, that did it for UH.
Well, this
Or-
individual doesn't know that.
Oh, okay.
So you can ask questions of the individual.
Wait, I have a question here.
Okay.
I should have asked that question first. Is it normal procedure that you have knowledge of who you're doing these CDUAs for
Yes.
and who's involved?
Generally, yes.
So is TIO involved?
TIO was not involved in the work that I did.
And that's in 2010?
That's correct.
Was TMT involved?
No, I did not work for TMT.
Okay. So this was generally just for the University of Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if the University of Hawaii is funded by tax dollars?
Yes.
Thank you. Does the University of Hawaii get any corporate funding?
I don't know.
Federal funding?
I don't know.
Do you have any spiritual connection to Mauna Kea and Native Hawaiians? Wait, I'm sorry, rephrase. Do you know the spiritual connection to Mauna Kea and Native Hawaiians?
Could you rephrase the question?
Do you know the connection, the spiritual connection to Mauna Kea and Native Hawaiians?
I have heard Native Hawaiians speak of that.
So do you know, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand what it means to them? Yes or no?
I cannot.
Just yes or no? Yes, no?
What is he?
The witness should be answered to allow to answer the question.
That's a very basic question, Your Honor.
Sir,
Sorry.
he's not answering the question. I think that's what we're waiting for, but I'm not sure you understand the question.
Are you talking to him or me? Please look at me.
I'm talking
Oh,
to
okay,
her.
sorry.
She
I'm
asked
so
me the
sorry.
question.
I'm sorry, I'm just kind of getting who's talking to who. Are you answering her or me?
I'm talking to
Okay.
her. I cannot answer the question the way it is because the words are not defined well enough for me to answer clearly. He used the term Hawaiians. There are many Hawaiians.
I said Native Hawaiians.
There are many Native Hawaiians.
Do you know what is
They
the
don't
difference
all-
between
Wait, just a
Hawaiians
minute.
and Native Hawaiians?
Sir, only one person can talk at a time. So,
There are many Native Hawaiians. My experience is that not all Native Hawaiians think identically. So I cannot give a single answer to the question that he asked me.
Can I ask the question again?
yes.
Okay. Do you understand what it means to them, Native Hawaiians? Do you understand what it means to them? Yes or no? That's all you have to say.
Yes.
Thank you. So you understand the spiritual connection. You understand what it means to them. Did you incorporate plans for Native spiritual practices in this CDUA?
All of the provisions for that are discussed.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. As I recall yesterday, I think my lovely wife gave you a paper of your credentials that you had filed in your testimony.
Yes.
And I noticed in that credentials that you did some work down in Kiholo.
Yes. For the state park.
And did it turn out good for the benefit of the natural resources there?
I strongly believe it did. It was kept very natural. We tried to incorporate as many Hawaiian things and to preserve as much as possible. It was very, very low development, over 4,300 acres.
Very good. Thank you. It's a special place to me. That's why I asked that question.
I agree.
When you were there down in Kiholo doing that assessment, this is leading from my I'm sorry, wait, I'm not done. This is leading, Your Honor, let me just explain. This is leading from my special place, okay, to Mauna Kea. So it encompasses the whole area.
So
my
what-
questioning on my foundation, I'm just asking him if he noticed Mauna Kea when you were down there.
Just a minute, please.
That's all.
What is the objection? Beyond the scope of the record. Well, he answered, and so I'm going to allow this question. Please answer.
Would you repeat the question, please?
The question is, when you were down doing the assessment or that environmental impact, whatever you were doing down there, was that, did you notice Mauna Kea
Yes.
from that direction? Thank you. Did you notice any observatories from there?
I don't recall.
While doing that, did you notice that there was very cold aqualine ponds, aquifers back there?
Could you explain what you
Well, I mean,
by,
were there
by back?
aqualine ponds in the area of Kiholo as you did your assessment?
There were a few small ponds.
Okay. Were they cold or warm?
I don't know. I didn't measure the temperature.
Were they salty or fresh?
Ancholine ponds are brackish, a combination. So
Okay.
not fresh, a little bit salty, but not ocean.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Did you know that the waters that filters through aqueducts and down into the lower lands come from Mauna Kea to Kiholo?
Yes.
Thank you. Did you know that my growth in Waimea, Kauaihai, Kiholo, Puanaulu, Kaupuleu, as a child, in the early 60s, there was no structures up there? Did you know that?
I know the first observer.
No, I said, did you
No,
know that?
I don't
Okay,
know that.
thank you. I was very fortunate to have that moments in my life. Did you know that the fresh water is vital for the growth of our limu that we gather as Native Hawaiians for subsistence?
Yes.
Do you know if mercury is going to be used for this telescope?
Please repeat it.
Mercury. You know what a substance, mercury?
Yes.
Do you know if it's going to be used for the telescope?
No.
Do you know what mercury does to water?
No.
Do you know if mercury is poison?
Yes.
Thank you. So if the mercury gets in the water, would it be poison?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Okay. Do you believe that the CDUP is sufficient enough and no evidence of adverse impact is evident?
I believe the
Yes or
CDUA
no?
is adequate. Yes.
So yes, yeah. Do you have any knowledge of water aqueducts within Mauna Kea?
No aqueducts.
Do you have confidence that the TMT development will not encounter or damage any of those natural resources?
Yes.
Confidence. You said that you don't know if mercury is going to be used for the telescope.
I don't recall
Okay.
for this particular project.
No telescope in the observatory?
I don't know. I'm sorry, you're...
You don't know if there's going to be a telescope in the
No,
observatory?
I don't know if there's going to be mercury.
Objection, badgering witness.
Am I?
Well,
I don't mean to.
I know. We just need to be clearer. So,
Yeah.
you know, I know you want to understand. I want to understand. So we make sure the question is clear so the witness knows what he's answering.
So the observatory is the building.
Yes.
The telescope is separate.
There's a support building, there's the building that houses the telescope, and there's the instrument itself.
In the CDUA, there's a description of some kind of equipment in the middle of it. What is it?
That's the telescope itself.
Okay, so is the telescope going to use mercury to clean its lens?
I don't know.
Is somebody cueing you in right now every time I see you glancing over there?
No.
Thank you. Because it's your testimony, not theirs.
Yes.
Thank you. So you do know mercury is a poison, right?
Yes.
Thank you. But you don't know if it's going to be used on a telescope?
I do not recall.
Okay. So you don't know. The CDUA doesn't know that there's mercury going to be used on a telescope. Just in general, do you know of any other places in the U.S. water has been contaminated by economics?
Objection beyond the scope of direct.
Sustained.
Just want to know his experience. I mean, he done a lot of work up in the mainland too. I mean, isn't this supposed to be the 50th state?
His testimony, the direct testimony, relates to his authorship of the CDUP.
Right, and I'm questioning his experience.
You're asking him about contamination of water elsewhere outside of this state.
True.
So I am sustaining the objection. I ask you to ask another question, please.
Okay, let me phrase that then. Is there any knowledge of water being contaminated by mercury?
Where?
Objection vague and ambiguous.
Please answer the question. If you can answer the, where are you referring to?
The first place I'm just referring to, in general, has assessments like yours been passed through and then water has been contaminated? That's all I'm asking. I mean, okay, you know what? Let's just cut that one out and I'll move on to another part, okay? Do you know the process of, well, first of all, wait, let me rephrase my, my question. You know the history of the beginning of Mauna Kea being leased to the University of Hawai?
I don't know the detailed history.
Do you know what year maybe? No?
In the 1960s.
68 sounds like 68, 1968? Yes? Okay. That's a
Sir,
yes.
there was no response.
No response?
I don't recall the exact year.
And I think he said, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think he said 1960s.
Right.
Yes.
And in 1960s, there was no observatories on Mauna Kea when I was a little boy.
So my question to you, Mr. Freitas, is
What
one of your questions
Yeah.
was 1968?
Yes, and I just wanted to know if he had knowledge of that time when the university first was awarded the lease by Governor Burns.
No.
Okay. Is it normal practice that you do assessments without knowledge of the lands being proposed for development?
I don't understand the question.
Is it normal practice that you assess lands without knowing the history of it?
Depends entirely on what one is assessing it for. I don't understand the question.
Well, if you're doing an assessment for a parcel of land, is it normal practice to find out the history of the land before you do it?
I wasn't preparing an assessment, so I'm having a hard time understanding.
Is it hard to understand that you need to, if you're doing a assessment for a parcel of land or a proposed development, that your practice, is it normal for you to just go in and do the assessment without history of it?
We
of
did.
The land?
Do not answer, please.
Objection, vague and ambiguous, argumentative.
Yeah. Could you ask the question?
I'm trying to ask it real simple, but he doesn't understand it. Basically, all I said was, is it normal practice for you to do assessments without knowing the history of the proposed area to be developed? That's all.
So your use of the word assessment, what does that mean?
Isn't that what the CDUP, when you go in do an assessment of an application, you need to know the history, the TMK of the land?
Sir, don't argue with him or me.
Okay,
So
I'm not.
you can break up the question if you wish.
Mhm.
So your first question is, does he do an assessment when he completes an application? Is that what your question is?
Well, in order to do the application, you have to know what you're doing the application for, don't you?
Well, you ask him, you have to
Well,
lay it out.
the way I asked the question was, is it normal practice for you to do a CDUA? Let's say, okay, is it normal practice for you to put together a CDUA, prepare a CDUA for a proposed area to be developed without knowing the history of that area?
The history of that information is normally available.
So it is, yes, you usually find out that history of the area, or they give it to you?
Usually it's given to us. In this case, we had the final EIS as a major source document, as well as the comprehensive management plan and the subplan. So,
Okay. So okay. Do you know about any exploratory drilling research
I don't understand.
on that parcel of land that you did the CDUA for?
No.
Do you know if the CDUA process started before research drilling?
before, what was the last thing you said?
Exploratory research, drilling.
I already said I didn't know about the drilling, so.
All right. So you don't know if they did any drilling on the site of the proposed TMT area?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know if any potential contamination of water will be encountered on this proposed development for TMT?
I'm not aware of it, no.
Do you know the use of fracking? Do you know what fracking is? Oh.
Beyond the scope of direct.
I'm going to allow this, and this is a foundational question. Go ahead.
I'm generally, as a layperson, familiar with the term fracking.
Okay, so you do know what fracking is?
As a layperson.
Yes. Yes or no?
No.
Oh, you don't
I read
know?
in the newspaper, I try.
Your Honor.
I'm not an engineer.
Can I ask you a question? Is it normal procedure that he gets coached from people sitting down over there?
The witness needs to be testifying from his own knowledge.
That's what I was hoping for, but it seems like he's not addressing me, he's addressing them, hoping he doesn't say the wrong yes or no answer.
Who is them, Mr. Freitas?
I don't know, I see his eyes looking this way, I can't tell who he's looking at. I'm assuming that he's looking at the person that keeps objecting.
So I'm going to ask that the witness testify from his own knowledge, please.
I am testifying entirely from my own knowledge.
Thank you. Because whoever is helping you didn't take the oath yet. So understanding the use of fracking, do you know that any, you know the outcome of, well, let me rephrase, sorry. Let me ask the questions real simply. Do you know that the use of fracking can contaminate water?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you know if fracking will be used on this project?
I've heard absolutely no mention that it would ever be used.
Thank you. So in your CDUA, you say there will be minimum impact of adverse impact in the area that is to be desecrated. Minimum. You said that, right?
I don't know what you mean by the area, the term area to be desecrated.
Okay. The proposed TMT project site on Ka'ohe. I don't have the TMK on my sign, but you know what we're talking about, right? Because your CDUA applies to that area, right?
You just explained that it was the TMT
Thank
site.
you. So, you said, do you believe that there will be minimum adverse impact to the environment in that area?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I don't mean to be ambiguous. I just learned that one. Do you believe that the decommissioning process in your CDUA can be achieved?
Yes.
In the decommissioning process of do you believe that the decommissioning process is not important to replace all natural, pristine landscape as it was, or as it is?
I'm sorry, could you please rephrase the question?
Do you believe that do you believe that the decommissioning process is not important to replace the area of its natural pristine rock landscape? Yes or no? Do you believe
I can't
it is
answer.
important?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you. That'll be a no.
No, sir. His answer was, I
Oh.
don't know.
Oh, I thought I heard no. So, do you don't believe, wait. Do you believe that the decommissioning process can put that area back in its pristine state as it stands today?
I have explained before that I did not know exactly how it would end up. That's
Okay.
part of the process that's been established for decommissioning. It's not my process.
Okay. So in the yes or no and category, you would say that it would not be able to put it back in its natural state? No?
I think evidence of disturbance would remain.
So no then, right? You would the decommissioning process would not be able to put it back in its natural state.
In its pristine state.
Yes, pristine natural state. Do you know what is Pahoehoe lava flow?
Yes, I do.
Is it beautiful?
Yes, some of it is very beautiful, sir.
Do you know that type of flow is in that area?
Yes.
Thank you. So knowing that there is no way that the decommissioning process can put back a pristine landscape of Pahoehoe lava, you still have confidence that the decommissioning process would be achievable?
Yes.
Do they make any type of machines that make Pahoehoe flows? I'm just asking in general. I don't mean to make it funny, but I need to know the answer.
I don't know.
Do you know how old that Pahoehoe flow is?
No.
No?
No, not exactly.
Would you have to know that in order to put together a CDUA?
No,
You don't?
I don't believe so.
What about them? Do they know? I see you keep looking. Your Honor, I'm sorry, but every time I ask him a question, he looks to the side here. He's not answering it directly from his own heart.
What is your objection, Mr. Sanderson?
Jack, the question is vague and ambiguous. We don't know what Pahoehoe flow.
I even can't hear you, so no one else is going to be able to either. And I'm concerned that we make a record of your objection.
We object vague and ambiguous. The question is vague and ambiguous. It's unclear what Pahoehoe flow we're talking about. unclear what machine we're talking about.
Okay.
I think he answered me that he does understand what Pahoehoe flow is.
In general, but I think the objection is there a particular flow that you're referring to when you ask the most recent question?
Oh, okay.
However, I also
right.
want to get to, so I'm going to
I-
sustain the objection, but I'm also wondering where this is going because, quite frankly, the decommissioning plan was discussed with this witness at some length already. Not by yourself, by other parties.
Yes. But for my foundation, I need to know his knowledge of Pahoehoe flow, how old it is, if they can replace it.
Are you going back to the decommissioning plan?
I am still here on this, my notes here that my questioning, cross-examination that is part of my facts and findings
Right.
in
So,
conclusion of law.
but if other people have already covered certain things, then this witness.
True, but they didn't ask that question.
That's true. So where are you going with this?
I need to get clarification if he understands the value of that Pahoehoe flow.
And why?
Because it's going to get desecrated if it doesn't, if this permit is allowed. And it's a spiritual connection in my ohana.
Do you know the year of that flow or some name?
That's what I'm asking him. He made the book, not the CDUA, not me. So I'm asking him if he understands the importance of that particular lava flow.
What particular lava flow?
Now I'm opening up a whole bunch of questions that I didn't ask him yet. All I wanted to ask him first is if he knew how old it was.
Which flow are you talking about?
The flow, the natural pristine landscape and the proposed TMT site. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about down in Kiholo or anything. And did I miss out the direction of where I'm going with this?
When you ask a question
Yes.
that's so general, and so now you've identified that you're talking about a Pahoehoe flow on the site itself.
Yes.
All right, so that's the limitation. So
Okay.
do you know the answer to that?
No.
He doesn't know.
You don't know, right? Okay. And the question was, what was the question that you're answering? You said no to?
Do I know the age of the lava, the Pahoehoe lava flow
Yes.
on the TMT site? My answer was no.
Okay. And you also said that you thought the Pahoehoe flows are beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm asking you, in the process of the decommissioning that I asked earlier, now, I asked you if the decommissioning could put back a pristine Pahoehoe flow. Yes or no?
What gets put back will be decided according
So
to
it
the
would not-
procedures in the decommissioning plan. I cannot
You
answer.
can answer yes
Sir,
or no.
please do not interrupt the witness. We cannot record the response
Okay.
and
I'm
your
sorry.
question.
I'm going too fast.
And you're
Sorry.
interrupting me as well.
I'm sorry.
So please,
Okay.
any objection?
Objection asked and answered.
Okay, please go to your next question.
Okay. On October 5th, you said you visited the TMT proposed site.
Yes.
I did hear you say that you, did you see anything on the roadway as you entered into that area?
Did I see anything what?
Yeah, anything that wasn't there when you, did you see anything on the roadway as you entered into that particular site?
Yes, I did.
And could you tell me what it was?
There was an ahu there that I had not seen before.
Okay. Do you understand what an ahu for is for?
It's a marker.
Okay. That's your understanding of what an ahu is for?
Yes.
Do you understand that an ahu is used for religious practices?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have any idea why it was put there?
No.
Okay. Do you know any knowledge of Native Hawaiians practice their spirituality?
Ambiguous.
I'm going to sustain the objection, but also I think we've covered this with this witness substantially.
Yes, but not about the ahu.
Well, you can ask, you've already asked about the ahu. Now you're asking him a general question of his knowledge of spirituality. So this has been covered before.
All right. Sorry about that. So in the CDUA, the 8 criteria, do you have knowledge of what criteria number 4 might mean to you?
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I did not
And
understand.
criteria number 4, the proposed land use will not be substantial adverse impact to the existing natural resources within the surrounding area, community, or region.
So what was your question? I'm sorry.
I just asked him if he understood that particular criteria.
Yes.
Thank you. So the impact of this proposed development of TMT on that particular site would be very minimal, you would say?
What I have testified is that on the TMT site, there would be considerable change. We were talking about the application, which covered a whole complex of things. So within the context of the overall conservation district use application, we reached that conclusion.
Yes or no? Minimal? Yes or no?
Minimal overall on the...
Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Why is this so hard? Did you anticipate any impact by Native Hawaiians standing against this project?
Pardon me. Yes, Mr. Shinyama?
Your Honor, I was going to wait till Mr. White got off the stand before I noticed this objection, but because we might never get there, I'd just like to note that this has all been asked and answered. You know, I understand this is This is a difficult process. I understand the
Mr.
fact that
Shinyama, what is your objection?
it is asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sustained, thank you.
Thank you. Did you anticipate any adverse impact by Native Hawaiians standing against this project?
That has been sustained, so may I ask you to please ask another question?
Oh, that's what it means.
That question has been asked of this witness already.
Oh, so sustained means he don't need to answer it.
Means yes.
Okay, thank you. Just, I'm learning. Sorry, excuse me, I just, I kind of wrote things up as quick as I could. I think I'm good with the cross-examination for now. Now, period. Thank you.
There will not be another opportunity.
I understand.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Freitas.
I think I covered everything.
Okay.
Thank you.